Hey there. Today on the back channel, I want to talk a little bit about something you might have heard of but never had fully explained to you in terms of how venture capitalists make decisions. And that thing is pattern recognition. I also want to take it a step further and talk a little bit about the types of people that will be negatively served by this tool in the toolkit of making investments, namely underrepresented founders, founders from different backgrounds. So first of all, pattern recognition. What is it? Well, just taking the words at face value, it's recognizing a pattern. And it's one of the most powerful tools that a venture capitalist has in making a decision about an investment. Essentially, what they're doing is trying to fill in the gaps around an investment decision. And when it comes to early stage investing, there are tons of gaps. You are looking at a company that might not have almost anything to show for it except for the founder and the story they tell. Maybe you have a little bit of stuff. Maybe you have a product. Maybe you have the product and it's in customers' hands. No matter how much progress you've made, there are always going to be gaps, all the way up to companies that are getting ready to IPO. They are telling a story where there are gaps and things that need to be filled in for the investor to be comfortable in moving forward and making a decision. Now, if we go all the way back to the early stage companies again, when we're trying to fill in those gaps around whether or not this person could take this company and make it a gigantic business, one of the tools that venture capitalists have at their disposal is the use of pattern recognition. What this means is they will either explicitly or just instinctually think about investments they've made in the past, especially ones that have been successful, but successful ones and unsuccessful ones, and either explicitly think to themselves or just through instinct think about how the founder they're talking to right now matches a pattern they've seen before. If it's a pattern that they're like, "Ooh, I've felt this before," or "This founder sounds like something I've heard before. They look, smell, taste, act, whatever, like something I've seen before where a founder was successful," that can be the pattern recognition that helps them fill in the gaps to say, I think I want to do this deal. On the negative side, things, it can work against you as well. This founder reminds me of a founder that I backed once before that blew up in a fiery explosion of mistakes and conflict, etc. In which case, that pattern recognition screams, let's not do this deal. You recognize this pattern. Okay. So pattern recognition is one of those things. It's very imprecise, but when it comes to earlier stage investing, there isn't a lot of precision. So as much as people would be angry at this imprecise tool, show me a better tool, show me something that more definitively helps an investor make good decisions. There aren't really any out there. So it's something that I believe the world needs to live with and understand and navigate. Now, while it is the best tool that they have, and I defend the fact that people use it, I also know that pattern recognition doesn't help a lot of founders who are coming up and essentially don't have a pattern that they can be matched to. As in, there aren't a lot of founders that look like me, or these VCs have not seen founders that sound like me, or have my background, or have done the things that I've done. In those cases, pattern recognition unfortunately negatively impacts certain groups. Like many of you, my last venture-backed startup was a SaaS business. In that company early on, we had the opportunity to sell into a large enterprise, but ran into some walls when they asked us if we were SOC 2 certified. Not only were we not certified, we also found out that it would take our small team a ton of time to get that done, and so we ended up abandoning the deal. If you haven't run into a situation like that where a potential customer or investor is asking if you're SOC 2, HIPAA, GDPR, or ISO 27001 certified, you probably will soon. But unlike me, you could use a company called Vanta to help. Vanta helps automate up to 90% of the compliance work, getting you audit ready in weeks rather than months, and eliminating up to 85% of the costs. Not only that, but Vanta can start small with you and scale up as you grow, helping you land bigger deals and earn customer trust. The best part is, Vanta is offering funded listeners $1,000 off for going to vanta.com/funded. That's VANTA.com/funded for $1,000 off your service. Check it out. This has recently come to mind because we're working through a cohort of founders that is even more heavily weighed towards women and other underrepresented founders, which is nothing we do by design, but it's awesome when we see it. We love helping founders like this. One of the things we have to talk about is the pattern recognition phenomenon that will be applied to them, and a lot of times not explicitly, but implicitly negatively impact their perception, the way people evaluate their deals. For instance, if a VC has never actually backed a successful female founder or has never successfully backed a Black founder, and you are a female founder or a Black founder, it will likely be harder for them to make that decision based on patterns alone. So now that you know that this is in play, whether or not you are an underrepresented founder or not, you should be thinking about how to navigate the fact that you may not have the benefit of pattern recognition working in your favor. What this means is making sure you come to the table with patterns that they can key off of, things that look a little bit more about the activities that you've done to prepare your company, the action that you've taken in order to drive progress in your company, the processes that you've run, the introductions that got you there. These are things that you can stimulate pattern recognition from that don't rely on what you look like. So make sure that you are coming to the table with a lot of work that you've done, stuff that you can help investors get more comfort around what you're able to do. And that's one of the ways pattern recognition can work for you. Another thing I'd say is the introductions that you get coming into a venture capitalist can also be very positive in counteracting the lack of other patterns that a VC might have when applying to you. And so work on having some of the most positive introductions that you can in order to set yourself up on the right foot in discussions with VCs so that they see the work that you've done in the best possible light. One last thing I'll say, especially to the people in the community out there that potentially aren't underrepresented founders or have underrepresented backgrounds, if you have the opportunity to support a talented founder with an underrepresented background, just know that your introductions can go a long way. Just know that you help set up people to be the patterns that future generations of founders might be able to match against when it comes to fundraising. So that's my little spiel on pattern recognition, pattern matching, and the tools and tricks to navigating that world. All right, that's this episode of The Back Channel. We'll see you next time.